button. I almost forgot that. That'd be sad. Okay, so we are going to talk. I had to take it off my wall, and now I can't turn it around because it's too large. Vision boards. So I'm going to talk about a couple steps to making your vision board, and hopefully this will help you create it. So maybe you have stuff like right now to do your vision board. Maybe you are going to go get stuff. But the supplies I use, I literally bought like foam board. So it's a little more sturdy than just like tag board or whatever, but foam board. And then I used my color printer to print stuff off, Sharpies, paint that I had at home, and like I have stickers here and stickers up here, but they were just leftover ones. So you can go out like probably next year. I'm sure every year my vision board will get a little more like intense because I'll know what's going on and I'll want to upgrade it. But for now, most of it is just stuff I had in my house besides the tag board. So I think the first thing when you are establishing your vision board, I didn't do a fancy PowerPoint or anything like that. I'm just going to walk you through mine. And right, there's no right or wrong way to do this. I mean, you can go and Google vision boards. Some people do just pictures. Some people do a ton of words. Some do whatever you want. So make it your own. But in the center, I put what my overarching goal is, right? So like my overarching vision for my business, like, because this is a business vision board. It's not necessarily like you can do personal vision boards, a teaching vision board, stuff like that. But this is my Beachbody one, pretty much, is make a difference. So right, that at the end of the day, I want to make a difference. And that can look a lot of different ways, right? Maybe that's one girl going and I share a podcast and that's one person going and listening to that podcast and it changes everything. Maybe it's one person who wake up in the morning and they decide they're going to start reading their Bible again because they see me post it every single day on my story. Like, true story, I've had people who tell me like, I started reading my Bible. Thanks, pals. Like I've started and how cool is that? Like for us to be saving people and helping people move closer to God. Cause at the end of the day, like that's making a difference, or right. Like people watching it. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have been like, and maybe they're not even, I've had a lot of people who aren't even doing Beachbody or doing whatever, but they've been like, I went to the gym cause I saw your workout today and that held me accountable. So it's like those little things. So overarching thing is to make a difference. Then, and I kind of set a goal, right? So I have the goal, I want to help 50 people in 2020. When I set this goal, I thought that was like crazy because I really wasn't hitting Success Club very often. And I determined that goal as anyone who signs up and I add to my challenge group, right? So it doesn't matter if they did a 3-month or a year long with all the goods or signed up as a coach. Like, I think some people who sign up for 3 months are more committed than the people who spend $225 on the Game Changer. Like, and so that's how I determined that. And then the other thing is quotes. So I encourage you to pick out a couple quotes that really mean something to you. So like the quotes on my board I have is, the world needs who you were made to be. I put this on there because oftentimes right? Like I forget that I watched other coaches for a really long time before I found my voice. And I would look at them and be like, oh, I'm going to phrase my stuff like that. I'm going to post pictures like that. I'm going to do what this, Susie and all these people are doing. But it's like the world needs who you were made to be. And we serve a specific purpose. They don't need me to be Brittany. They don't need me to be Angie, right? Like they need me to be Brianna. And so that's a reminder, and it reminds me that I need to share that with the world. Another one I have is blossoming into a badass woman with more faith than fear. I just like it because it's like I want to not be afraid and I want to take risks. But right, more faith. I want to be gaining more faith, because if I lose my faith through all this, I think then I'm in the wrong. So I want to remember that, to stay grounded in my faith. And then over here, I have refuse to be average. So, right, like there's a lot of people in the world that work out. There's a lot of people, right? There's 40,000 Beachbody coaches. But I have also been looking at stats, and only like, I don't know, 20% of coaches ever get to Emerald. And then, as you go up, less and less are successful. And so I'm refusing to be average. And I mean that in my workouts, in my teaching, in my relationships, all of that, is that I refuse to be average. And it reminds me to push harder, to sit down and read my Bible, even when I wake up late and don't want to. It reminds me to do all that. Okay, so I have my main focus in the middle, then I have my quotes, and then I have some pictures. Well, let me start with, I had goals, right? So I figured out what my 2020 goals were, like to be a diamond coach. My goal was to hit Success Club for every month, pay off all our student loans, help build 5 Emerald coaches and 1 diamond coach on our team, and then to make $10,000 with Beachbody. And so essentially those were my goals that I had, that I wrote when I did like a goal, I don't know what you want to call it, activity. And so then it was just putting the pictures with it, right? So here are 5 Emerald graphics I found in a diamond. Here's a picture of Shane and I at graduation, because, right, paying off our student loans, that's us at graduation. It reminds me of that. I printed off a diamond coach, and then I printed off a Bahamas thing, because I want to go on the Success Club trip cruise. And so like the way to do that is to hit Success Club. And then I have actually added to this, like I added up in the corner, I added each month so you can see a check mark if I made it, and crossed it out if I didn't. And so when you're talking about visions, don't think small, right? So I could have said, like, I think my first year as a coach, I hit Success Club 3 times, maybe 4 months, right? I could have said, I want to hit Success Club 6 months. And yeah, that probably would have been easy, but like Melanie Mitro says it all the time, like, why set a goal for something when you can set it for like way higher, and then you at least hope that you go somewhere between the two. And so it's better to dream really big and go higher but miss it, instead of saying like, oh, I want to hit Success Club, say I hit it 4 months you're saying I want to hit it 6 months, and then I only hit it 6 months because once I hit that 6 months, I'm done and whatever. So you can see I actually already missed this goal because there was 1 month I didn't hit Success Club. So I already missed that goal, but I leave it there, and it reminds me of the goal I'm going for, and it'll probably be on my vision board next year. So that's kind of the other components. Other things I've seen, right? I have seen people make more of like a montage where it's literally like picture over picture over picture and stuff like that. I am cheap and I didn't want to use a lot of colored ink. So I've seen people take magazines and like cut out magazines and use those pictures, and cut out, how you used to, like in elementary, cut out your letters from magazines and glue that on there. All of that is fair game. I just don't have any magazines. I didn't want to use a lot of colored ink, and I don't like cluttered stuff. And so the other thing to throw out, my one last thing, and then we can talk about vision boards, we could work on them, whatever you'd like to do, but throw out perfection. Like, I know some of us on here, I know Angie's like, oh my God, I know. I kid you not, guys, I probably stared at the blank board for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, I don't want to do anything because what if I mess it up? And I'm like, so what if I mess it up? I messed it up right there. I wrote a H instead of an E, and I like move on, and I don't think about it at all when I look at it. Sometimes I do. I'm like, oh man, you messed it up, like the last sentence. But I really like it. And then the last part of having your vision board is put it somewhere you see it every day. So if you have a workout room, if you have a place where you read every morning, if you have a place you can put it, like mine is above my desk. So every day when I sit down, I look at it. And when I'm working out, I'm kidding you not, every time I'm working out, I'm reading, the world needs who you're made to be, refuse to be average, be a badass woman. Like, I am repeating these things over and over to myself. And I'm a firm believer in what you envision and what you visualize in your life will happen. So if you visualize that you're the best dang teacher on the planet, you're going to be the best teacher. If you visualize that you are going to help 20 people, you are going to do it. And so that's why I look at it every day. So do you have any questions? What do you want to do? It's kind of a quick thing because I want you guys to have time to either work on them or ask questions or look up quotes or think about some goals or whatever. I don't think I missed anything.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is so silly, but for me, like actually writing it down terrifies me. And so, like, what on earth did you do to just get past the point of like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, I mean, still that's not that's not your plan.
Yeah.
But like, how did you?
I think I also like broke it down and that helped, right? So like, I kid you not, here, I'm going to show you this, right? So last year with Beachbody, I made like, I don't know, I don't even remember what I made, but I made a small 3,000 or something. And so, right, like 10,000, I'm like, oh my God, I'm more than doubling this. Like, this is crazy. I can't picture it. Okay. So I put it on my board and then I said, before I put it on my board, I broke it down. So I said, okay, I want to make $10,000 this year. So I need to make $833 a month. So I need to make $192 a week. And then I'm like, okay, that's more manageable. I can figure out how to do that. Or helping people, right? So I am like, well, if I am hitting Success Club every month, that was dumb of me. I really should have set my goal higher, because even the math, if I want to hit Success Club every month, that's 3 people. And well, I guess 3 times 12 gets you to 48. So then my goal is to, if I did my math, 36. I am not a math teacher. 36. Right. And so then it's like, you break it down and say, okay, what, 5, 12. Oh, there's Jess. If you break it down and say like to help 50 people, I have to help this many people a month. And then it's easier because it makes your goals seem a lot less completely, utterly terrifying, because you're like, I can handle that. And so then I just kind of built up and did the steps I needed to take to get to it. Mm-hmm. And part of it goes along with like Melanie Mitro. She did a podcast at one point, and it was just about like why set small goals, because like if you set your goal, so say I set my goal to make $5,000. Okay. I was either deciding between 5,000 and 10,000. Well, I know I could hit 5,000. So I set it for that and I hit it, right? That's great. I make 6,000. But what if I set my goal for 10,000 and maybe I don't hit it, but I hit 9,000, or I hit something a lot closer to it? And so it's nice to set your goals higher, because then you're also able to hopefully do more, right? Like, what's the quote? Shoot for the moon, aim for the moon, land among the stars. Just like, I'm crazy. And so it's just better to aim for higher, because you might, right? She uses the analogy of making $1 million in her business, but. And so, but.
Thank you. That helps a lot.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, Jess and Sarah came on, and I hope they can see me.
I feel like I'm going to get a bigger board, like right now.
Oh, get a bigger board. Okay,
Sarah gave me a thumbs up. I have it right here.
You're like, I need a bigger board. I know. I like, this one's huge. Like, but it's fine, and I write big. So I am just going to recap what I said quickly for Sarah and Jess, who hopped on. So my vision board, I started with the center. So if you have, right, you've already heard my spiel, so you can, I'm going to pause, or I'm going to stop the recording.